rooms that you've sat through, what would you say are the top things in general that actors should work to improve on, with the understanding that every actor has their own individual obstacles as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's key right there, that every actor has their own individual anything, and so I think what I love to see in audition rooms is an actor coming in with a confident choice, because they've done the research on what the project is, what the role is, the players involved, and they've made choices based on that context, since a lot of times people don't have the opportunity to read the full script anymore. You only get the sides, and you sort of have to extrapolate what you can from that material, and then put a performance together, a rough performance, because ultimately I think it's important to be loose enough with it that we're able to play and change direction as needed. But I also, but that's the thing that I love the most, is when an actor comes in with a choice. It doesn't have to be right off the bat, but it shows me that they've put thought and effort into it, and they've created something that is uniquely their own, that I can help adjust or direct in a way that, gives them a stronger base for whatever the foundation of that role actually is. There's so many times where actors come in to these audition rooms and they say, so what has everyone done wrong that you need to see differently? And it's like, you've already lost the game at that point. You're comparing yourself to everybody else before you. And it, and that's, where's the joy in that performance? Then you're just trying to get the job. You're not trying. And the thing about auditioning, which is, it's its own unique entity. It is a skill in and of itself. The things that you do in an audition room, you'll probably never do again anywhere else, because when you get to set, you have actual actors that you get to work off of. You have props, you have costumes, you have an entire world that you can live in and create. When you're in an audition room, you have to create all of that out of nothing and read with someone like me, who's not an actor, who's also operating the camera at the same time to make sure you're being recorded. And so while I'm seeing everything you're doing, you may not 100% feel like I'm with you 100%, even though I am. I just have two things that I have to do simultaneously. So, just that's the big thing. Just come in with a choice. Don't come in and ask me what I want to see. And
Right.
then you're already on the right track.
I think you make a really good point that I really hope our actors tuning in will take to heart with regards to making a confident choice. I think it goes back to a little bit about what you were saying at the beginning of our conversation about engaging with actors who are uniquely themselves. And I think when actors go into an audition and really have that confidence to make a really strong, bold choice, it's being authentic to who they are. I think that a lot of times, and myself included, I'm also guilty of this, where sometimes it's an actor will go into an audition and be somewhat general, or in some ways kind of play it safe in the audition. Yeah. And I think that could be I think that's a very common trap that a lot of actors fall into. And I think is in line with what you were saying, with some actors coming in and saying like, oh, okay, what did the others do wrong so that I don't do that?
And have you ever been in a situation where you've been told by multiple people, either in class or or whatever, that you should just do nothing, when you're in front of a camera?
Right.
That's not real. We don't want
Yeah.
people to do nothing. It's about simplicity of choices, not just to say the words. Because at the end of the day, even a one-line role has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And you have to understand in the context of the story that role is there to serve the main plot and be part of the fabric of the story. They are not the center of attention. They are not. But that does not mean that we want you to do nothing. Because how is that fun either? So it's like finding this. Yeah. It's like finding this middle ground of being true to your choices, understanding the context of the project, the role, and all of those things, and then making a real choice as to how you want to approach this character in the context of all of the work that you've done, so you can be doing something simply. Yeah. I like to say, people ask me sometimes, and this may be a question, maybe not, but they're like, you know, how do you approach these one-liners and short scenes? Because I do believe that having a strong foundation of, you know, of that on your resume starting out shows that you can handle yourself on set, that you know what you're, you know, that you're able to maneuver. But I also think it's one of the hardest things to audition for because it is so out of context and out of time. And what I say to people with these sort of situations is look at the character name. The character isn't named anything. It's a profession usually: bartender, waitress, assistant, secretary, you know, along those lines, official, government employee. And so already in the name, you have context of what the character is and what they're looking for in terms of the approach that you can take, in terms of the, you know, the nod to wardrobe that you may want to do if it's a self-tape or if it's in person, because a lot of times these things get cast off tape now. We don't, you know, we don't ever have live director sessions, especially if it's a project that's moving really quickly. So just give yourself the best leg up to, you know, to make those choices and present the way you want to present for those particular roles. And if there's something really specific about the character that they need to see, like the character has a limp, that'll be somewhere for you to know. Like that's not something that you will just have to make up yourself, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's some great insight as to actors really using the opportunity to make their own confident choice, but then also being informed as to what's in the script, even if it is just a couple lines.
Right, because I think that those go hand in hand. You can make bold, confident choices by understanding the context, you know? One doesn't negate the other. They both serve each other in giving you the most confidence to move forward.